Welcome to this lesson on fermentation, a type of anaerobic respiration. Fermentation is a fascinating biological process that allows organisms to produce energy even when oxygen is not available. Throughout this video, we'll explore how cells can break down glucose to generate energy without using oxygen, and we'll look at the different types of fermentation that occur in nature and industry. Fermentation is an energy production process that occurs without oxygen. Unlike aerobic respiration, which requires oxygen to break down glucose completely, fermentation allows cells to extract energy from glucose in environments where oxygen is limited or absent. This process is crucial for many organisms, including certain bacteria, yeast, and even our own muscle cells under specific conditions. To understand fermentation better, let's compare aerobic and anaerobic processes. Aerobic respiration requires oxygen to function and produces a large amount of energy from glucose. In contrast, anaerobic respiration, which includes fermentation, does not need oxygen at all. While aerobic respiration is more efficient, fermentation provides a vital alternative pathway for energy production when oxygen is unavailable. The basic fermentation process can be summarized simply. Glucose is converted into energy plus various byproducts. During fermentation, glucose molecules are partially broken down through a series of chemical reactions. This breakdown releases a small amount of energy that the cell can use. The specific byproducts produced depend on the type of fermentation occurring, which we'll explore in detail shortly. There are two main types of fermentation: alcoholic fermentation and lactic acid fermentation. Alcoholic fermentation produces ethanol, which is the type of alcohol found in beverages, along with carbon dioxide. Lactic acid fermentation, on the other hand, produces lactate, also known as lactic acid. Each type occurs in different organisms and serves different purposes in both nature and human applications. Let's examine alcoholic fermentation in detail. The chemical equation shows that one molecule of glucose, with the formula C6H12O6, is converted into two molecules of ethanol, C2H5OH, plus two molecules of carbon dioxide, CO2. In simpler terms, glucose is transformed into ethanol and carbon dioxide. This process is carried out primarily by yeast cells and certain bacteria. Alcoholic fermentation has many practical applications that humans have utilized for thousands of years. In bread making, yeast performs alcoholic fermentation, producing carbon dioxide bubbles that cause the dough to rise, while the small amount of alcohol evaporates during baking. Beer brewing relies on yeast fermenting sugars from grains to produce alcohol and carbonation. Similarly, wine production uses yeast to ferment the natural sugars in grapes, creating alcohol and contributing to the wine's flavor profile. Now let's look at lactic acid fermentation. The chemical equation shows that one glucose molecule, C6H12O6, is converted into two molecules of lactic acid, C3H6O3. Unlike alcoholic fermentation, this process does not produce carbon dioxide. Lactic acid fermentation is performed by certain bacteria and also occurs in animal muscle cells when oxygen supply is insufficient during intense exercise. Lactic acid fermentation also has numerous important applications. Yogurt making uses specific bacteria that ferment the lactose in milk, producing lactic acid that gives yogurt its tangy flavor and thick texture. In our own muscle cells, lactic acid fermentation occurs during intense physical activity when oxygen cannot be delivered fast enough to meet energy demands. This is what causes the burning sensation in muscles during strenuous exercise. Pickle production relies on bacteria that ferment vegetables, producing lactic acid that preserves the food and creates the characteristic sour taste. Let's review the key points about fermentation. First, fermentation occurs without oxygen, making it an anaerobic process. Second, fermentation produces much less energy than aerobic respiration. While aerobic respiration can produce up to 30 ATP molecules from one glucose molecule, fermentation produces only 2 ATP molecules. Despite this lower efficiency, fermentation is essential for survival when oxygen is unavailable. Finally, fermentation is essential for many food products and industrial processes that we rely on daily, from bread and yogurt to alcoholic beverages. Understanding fermentation helps us appreciate both its biological significance and its practical applications in our lives.
If you like this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Visit codelucky.com for more such useful content.